Thanks for being with us on V8 Extra. Hope you're enjoying the show. Welcome back. Neil Crompton here and ageing former driver Mark Larkham on my right-hand side with no chance to respond as I welcome old mate Stephen Johnson from Jim Beam Racing. How are you, pal?
Good, guys, good.
Good to have you here. Now, look, something that I've never asked you before is how tough is it to be son of? Because it must be something that is both positive and negative in some instances.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's good in the way that, you know, I've had some benefits from it, but it's been hard in other aspects as well. So I try not to, you know, I guess go back and talk about that a lot. I try to do my own thing, and you know, this day and age, as I'm sure Mark can probably let us know, it's a little bit different now what it was back then. So
I'm also interested. I mean,
Yeah.
do Dick and you interact in terms of driving the race car and your role as the race driver within the team, or has the relationship sort of gone beyond that?
No, we did at the very start when he eventually retired and I jumped in. But now I think, you know, he's more interested in what I'm doing with George, my engineer, and what we're talking about and what changes we do want to make to the car, rather than sort of giving us hints and saying, okay, well, how about you try this or do that. I mean, it has evolved a bit. I mean, it has been 8 years since he's raced. But you know, having said that, he's still no less interested in what we're doing and how the car's feeling. So he still asks the questions, but it's a little bit different answers, I guess.
Congratulations for Bathurst last year, getting on the podium. I think you've had 14 hits at it, and you were around when Larko and I were around, and you've been running. You started, I think, with Gricey back in '94 from memory.
Yeah.
And all those fourth placings, and to finally get the podium, and the third attempt with Will, it was a great, proud moment for you and the family.
Yeah, it was. We didn't have a good 06, and you know, I can't remember back as far as making a mistake myself and putting myself out of the race. So that was extremely disappointing. But yeah, we had a string of fourths, you know, with Dad and with Craig Baird and so many people, so many fourths and fifths. But always strong there, you know, always in the top 5 generally, and to crack that third was great. Although it's probably a little bit disappointing that we know we could have been better.
It's almost bizarre, the concept that you've been around since '94, but I still see you as a young guy in the sport. What does the future hold for Stephen Johnson? I mean, where do you see the next 10 years?
Yeah, it's, you know, I really want to drive, and I think that with the team, the way that the team's going, and you know, I'm not so much settled, but with what I want. I mean, obviously the last few years have been very difficult, so it has been hard in some aspects to keep the momentum and keep the focus in the right areas. But you know, having said that, now it's so much different in the way that the team's different, the structure's different. It's quite exciting to see what's actually going to happen in the future sort of months and years. So, you know, I'm hoping that I've still got a little bit of fight left in me for at least, you know, 4 or 5 more years at least. And but you know, I'll probably be like that. I won't be able to stay away from the racetrack. I won't be able to just hang the boots up and go boating, because I'm not sort of that way inclined. I'd rather just stick with the petrol fumes.
That's an interesting one. Real quick question. You were 6, I think, when the rock happened for your dad. Your first recollections of going to Bathurst, do you remember?
He didn't let me go to Bathurst until '92 was my first year. The rock incident happened when I was sitting in a lounge suite built up as a race car with a gap about this big to the TV. So that's about what I can remember of the rock, and I remember the accident happening, but you know, there was no vision of it, so you didn't see how bad it was.
Stephen Johnson is our special guest on V8 Extra, and Stevie, it's no big secret that things have been pretty grim for DJR in the last couple of years. How tough has it been?
It's taken a lot of strength from the whole family, basically. I mean, you know, a lot of people say that, geez, you know, your dad's aged quite a lot in the last year or so, and you know, I'm sure he probably would have aged a lot more if he wasn't so laid back and relaxed, you know, in his normal life. But it has been tough. It's been, you know, we've had to stick together. We've had to really, you know, I guess build each of us up to not dropping the ball and dropping your chin, so to speak. So, you know, I've probably seen Dad at his lowest that I've ever seen him in my life in the last probably 6 months or 8 months. So, you know, it's good to see that he's actually starting to get a smile back and get a little bit of that worry out of his head.
Steve, without putting you on the spot, I mean, I think you're a great fit for the sport. You're very much like your dad, in particular the way you drive the car. Do you think going forward with Charlie as the new partner in the business now that there's still scope for Steve Johnson Racing as Dad moves away or moves on?
Yeah, I think it's certainly the best option for us to obviously gain the results that we really wanted to gain, which we have done the last few rounds, but also for the longevity of the business. It's obviously a long-standing, privately owned race team that's been around for 30 odd years, so we didn't want to see that fall by the wayside, and that was our best option. Charlie is a guy that we know is not going to change it, rectify anything in the way that's going to be detrimental to the team, but also keep the Dick Johnson Racing brand and the Dick Johnson Racing name there indefinitely. So it's not going to be a Johnson Swercolt racing or anything like that. It's going to be Dick Johnson Racing, but Charlie's the new identity, and he's a very smart man and fit for the job.
Then that's the dark side of the story, but obviously the bright side is that you've got a new part owner and you've got great results. In particular, that recent success for your teammate Will Davison is fantastic, and I mean it was just an emotional breakout at DJR, wasn't it?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean the garage was just. They were just so excited about what had happened. We'd been close. We had the podium obviously at Bathurst, and then we backed that up at Bahrain with another one. We should have been close at Indy, so we had things going for us in the right direction. But for Will to break through at a track that we're generally not that competitive at in the past years is just amazing. Can't wait for the next round. The Grand Prix was fantastic for us too. 2 cars in the top 7 again. So
Steve, Eastern Creek is a chassis track. I know you guys earlier on you've bought a lot of this 888 componentry to put into your cars.
Yep.
That's a new model moving forward for some teams. Is that the key to the speed? Apart from the fact that you took Larco trained engineers,
absolutely,
I noticed.
absolutely.
But is that really the thing that's moved you forward? I mean, speed's obvious.
Absolutely. I mean, but also, money means quite a lot in this business, as most people can gather, and the more money you got, the more things you can buy and the more things you can try. So we are to the stage now where we pretty much